Hello Cancer, and welcome to Sincere Tarot, where you get the raw honest truth. This is your May 2020 tarot forecast, and your theme of the month is the Four of Cups. Are you feeling a little bit distracted from what normally goes on in your life? Are you ruminating? Are you a little bit uninterested or disinterested, in things that you used to have your attention focused on? So this might be a time of you've checked out of the normal rat race or the normal structure and schedule of your life, and you might be thinking about things that are more emotionally fulfilling, and there also might be an opportunity, an emotionally fulfilling opportunity that you might not even be paying attention to. You might not even notice, or maybe you notice but you're a bit disinterested. If there is an emotional opportunity, you might want to focus on that a bit more. Think about it rather than ignore it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then maybe have a bit more of a wide breadth of your life and what's going on right now. But I mean, you might just be in a situation that a lot of us are, where you're not focused on what you used to normally be focused on. And there's nothing wrong with that. All right, so I have shuffled the cards off camera, but I'm showing you that I'm cutting the decks. And I've got 3 different decks. So I'm just laughing at the cards. Oh, interesting month. Okay, so I'll show you in a moment. Like I said, I've got 3 different decks: my Tarot of the Cat deck, Thoth deck, and Mystic Mondays deck, representing what's happening on the surface, beneath the surface, and advice cards. Definitely make sure you stick around until the end, where you pick your own destiny cards, so you use your intuition for that. I'm just kind of seeing what's going on, so I've got all these things going on in my head. That's why I'm laughing. Okay, and if you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never miss a video, and yeah, all that good stuff. I feel like I've said that more than once. Okay, so you definitely have an interesting month. I mean, overall, it will be good. And any bumps in the road or disappointments or maybe some stressors, I feel like those are the things that aren't really going to last that long. Overall, the good outweighs the not so good, and the good will have a more it will last longer in your life ultimately and make more of a positive change. Little bumps and big ups. Okay, so first I'm going to show you what is happening on the surface. Now, these cards will have a different meaning when I show you week by week what is happening beneath the surface and your subsequent advice cards, okay? But I'll first show you, during the first week we have got the 3 of Swords, so some sort of having your arms up. It might be a quarrel or a disagreement that's stressing you out with someone else, or maybe more than one person, because there are 3 swords. If it is a argument with one person, it is about something that's almost a bit separate. It could be an argument about a third person, or possibly about almost like a separate situation that really shouldn't be involved in your relationship at all. During the second week, 3 of Pentacles, works overall looking pretty good, and finances. If you've got a team working well together. Third week, we've got the World, and I'll show you how it's aspected. And then the final week of the month, we've got the Page of Pentacles, which is a promising card. Okay, so during the first week, like I said, we have got the 3 of Swords on the surface. Now, mind you, these are minor arcana cards, so this isn't a fun situation. It's stressful. Swords, mind, stress in this situation. But beneath the surface, we've got the Priestess, and your advice card is the Empress. So honestly, this bump in the road is going to create an insane amount of spiritual growth and lessons being learned. So it's almost like it's worth it in a sense, even though if you're in the middle of this, it'll be like, how is that worth it? but it is. So some sort of argument or disagreement. It might not necessarily even be, it's almost kind of like a standoff because you two aren't talking. You used to be on good terms. It could be a lover and maybe they were unfaithful. It could be a friend and maybe or a family member that they said negative things about you behind your back, or they were being manipulative and you just found out and you're arguing about that. It's almost like you're arguing about something separate outside of the relationship, but it's come into the relationship. And both of you are too proud to put your guard down and open up and be vulnerable. I feel like this situation will really open you up spiritually, but also because this isn't necessarily the best aspected, it might be something to do with they kept secrets or you kept secrets from them. This might cause you to be a little bit more secretive and a bit more mysterious and just keep things to yourself. Maybe there are certain things you can't, really talk to this person about. You can't trust them in that sense. I just get this vibe of, if you letting someone know maybe too much when maybe your friendship or relationship might have been a little bit more superficial than you thought, not necessarily, but in one aspect, they might be taking little bits of information and then using it against you to be manipulative, or vice versa. Maybe you both kind of do it to each other, to be honest. So you might kind of be a little bit more secretive and keep things to yourself in the future. Regardless, you will be learning a lot and a lot of insight and spiritual wisdom from this. So you might want to listen to your dreams and certain synchronicities to help guide you in the correct direction. Your advice card is the Empress. So the Empress has solid boundaries. She doesn't just let anyone in. She's very fussy. And that's probably, maybe you need to be a bit fussy, or maybe you need to be a bit more stubborn. But also the Empress is saying to treat yourself. You've worked hard to where you've gotten, okay, in life. So you also need to treat yourself. Just because the situation with this other person might be stressing you out and possibly bringing up past wounds, doesn't mean that you shouldn't be enjoying life and treating yourself. You can step away from this, turn your back to it, and just, I'm gonna get myself a nice meal, I'm gonna take myself out for a nice walk, a bubble bath, whatever you can do, online shopping, whatever it is to treat yourself. You deserve it. Okay, so second week. Like I said, we have got the Three of Pentacles on the surface, and beneath the surface we've got the Four of Swords, truce, and your advice card is the Two of Pentacles. So I feel like with this one, on the surface it shows, work is going well. I feel like if finances have been difficult, you've been able to be, with creativity in a sense, you've been able to make finances work, or you've been able to get work, or continue your work, or adapt your work. It's taken a lot of skill to prioritize things financially, maybe change up the way that your household is organized, and working with others as a team, and maybe even working with people you didn't think would be that great of a team member, but you're able to work magic. So that's fantastic. So we've got the Four of Swords, truce, beneath the surface. So I feel like if this is something, this might actually be that this could be related to the person during the first week that you were at odds with, that you might have just been able to say, you know what, we're in the situation, we've got to work together. Let's just put our differences aside for now and work together. And I feel like that's exactly what you're doing. These are very, very different times at the moment, and sometimes we have to put down our ego and our differences and our quarrels to get things done. And that's exactly what you're doing. And it's partly because of your skill and your talent, that you are able to work well as a team when you decide to. So that's great. And you know what? That actually might be creating an opportunity for you to put your swords down for a while, potentially. I'm not sure about in the long run. I'm just looking at 1 month. Your advice is the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles is kind of like a 50-50 card. If there's something, like it could be this situation or a different situation. Maybe you're not sure how things are going to go with money or with your relationship with this person. But just know that it could go either way. So it's balanced 50-50. It's really up to you how you're going to tip the scales. The Two of Pentacles can also be about prioritization. You might need to prioritize even more when it comes to finances, where you live, work, things like that. Just practical day-to-day, down to earth things that need to be done to help you survive and your family or anyone in your life. So you might need to prioritize even more and really think about what's important. And sometimes, okay. Now, during the third week, so weird. Give me a moment just for this one. Okay. So, I feel like, look, there's some sort of, so we've got the world on the surface. However, beneath the surface, we have got the Five of Cups, which is disappointment, and your advice is the Moon. So this is so cool because, the moon rotates around the earth. Also, you might want to check out my video for your moon sign, which is related more to your emotional world. If you're not sure what your moon sign is, go to cafeastrology.com. They've got a free natal birth chart report. I love them. And you can figure out what your moon sign is. So on the surface, I feel like, okay, so this is all about completion, and it can also be something global. And there is a lot of disappointment that there is, okay, these are major arcana, this is minor arcana. Even though this is the more negative of the card, it's a minor arcana. So in the end game of your life, it's not going to be the be all or end all. And it's a 5, so it's half of 10. So it's transitional. It never lasts that long. I feel like a few things. There might have been a disappointment, necessary, an emotional disappointment. Maybe it was from this person during the first week that you're really disappointed about their behavior, but ultimately the way that they made you feel, or you made them feel, or both of that together. But I feel like that's coming to an end. One of you might be moving. This can sometimes be about moving. Heck, I know everything that's going on right now, but you might be moving to a different country or just changing up the situation. This could also be disappointment on a global level. So this whole global situation right now, and I can't say the word because apparently YouTube's flagging that word, so please don't even comment it. But this global situation might be really disappointing for you. But it's almost, the world is also the completion of a particular cycle. So I feel like this disappointment might complete a certain phase of your life. And your advice is the Moon card. And as an advice card, you might need to deeply reflect. And because it's not necessarily aspected so well with that Five of Cups disappointment, the Moon might be telling you not just to reflect and get in touch with your shadow side and your dark side and maybe negative patterns that go all the way back to your childhood that are in your subconscious. Like, do you ever go into certain patterns, think certain thoughts, react in a certain way, and you don't even know, or get really angry and you don't even know where that comes from? Like, it comes from deep within you. You're going to need to dive deep. But the Moon can also be about deceit and deception and things that are hidden. It can be very tricky, and also it might be related to abuse of substances. And with those cups, do you sometimes drink when you get really upset? So the Moon is saying that, any type of addictive substance, specifically alcohol, it's going to cloud your judgment and you won't be able to think clearly. So it's really, really important to avoid any type of addictive behaviors or patterns, and you will need to dive deep. Like, why do you have that? Is it something that runs in your family? Is it a learned behavior from your childhood? Is it a way that you self-soothe? So it can be very, very tricky. But just like dive into the shadow and think about how it's all connected. And is it a cycle? Is it cyclical? All right, so during the 4th week, overall look at it a bit better. So 4th week, on the surface, we've got the Page of Pentacles. Beneath the surface, the Ace of Swords. And, oh, your advice is, yeah, the 7 of Pentacles. Okay, so I feel like during the 4th week, with the Page of Pentacles, you might be getting a message about training or school or something like that. You also might be doing a lot of research. This could be reading. You might be doing some writing. You might be listening to podcasts and just improving your knowledge base in preparation to have more stability in the future when it comes to work and finances. So it's a good start in the correct direction. And sometimes a good start can come with a message, like that letter from the university saying you've been accepted, like that phone call from someone saying, you know, the contract went through so you can get your house. And which I feel like it might be a written or a spoken message, because with the sword, it's thoughts and it's words. So this could be that you are receiving a message and it's bringing clarity of mind. This could also be, just a new way of thinking, a new perspective. I feel like with the stress of the person in the 1st week, that maybe you weren't able to focus on this, but now you have this new clarity of mind. You're not so stressed, and you also might be getting a final piece of information to really get started on this training or upgrading your skills. And your advice is the 7 of Pentacles, which is just to keep going in this direction. So just to keep, harvesting the area of your life in regards to finances and work and skills. You will begin to see the fruits of your labor. You will begin to see some benefits and payoffs. And even if it's not necessarily in regards to, making a lot of money, I mean, you might be having a good start, seeing a bit of profit, things like that. It could also be good grades or good feedback or just things moving in the correct direction where you know that you will gain a lot of prosperity. And it's something you've put a lot of effort into. So just keep doing that. Keep working hard. And yeah, so just keep working hard, because you don't want to necessarily sit idle all the time. You need to stay focused on your goals, I would definitely say. All right, pick a number 1, 2, or 3, and you are going to pick your own destiny cards. So please comment, is there someone in particular during the beginning of the month that you're at odds with, or a particular situation? I hope that clears up if that's the case. What is it that you're disappointed about during, the mid or latter half of the month? Please do comment below if this reading resonated with you. And please only nice comments, because I'm a sensitive person. I'm a Pisces moon, okay? All right, pick a number 1, 2, or 3. It's the first number that comes to your head. Never second guess yourself, okay? That's your ego. All right, if you picked 1, let's see what we've got. Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay, so if you picked 1, on the surface we've got the 6 of Pentacles. Beneath the surface, the Knight of Wands. And your advice card is the Hermit. Okay, so this could be a few things. You might be in some sort of like work or charity, or some sort of public service where you take care of people. You might be helping out your neighbors. It might not be, actual job, but you could be helping people in your life out. Maybe even lending money and stuff like that. And you don't necessarily have a lot, but you have more than a lot of people. So you are needed. Please remember that. You might have a lot of fiery spiritual energy and possibly sexual energy. This is the most, sexual of the cards. I feel like this could be a few things. You might be in a particular job or working with people in the community in some manner, and there might be someone who's coming after you, but your advice is the Hermit, also possible Virgo influence. So your advice is actually just to stay at home and just keep to yourself. There might be a lot of intense energy coming towards you. You really need to just keep to yourself, explore that internal light, and just be with yourself. This is an ancient type of wisdom. This could also be that you really tap into a lot of spiritual energy when it comes to helping other people in the situation, and maybe that's the direction that you want to go in your life potentially. You know, you might have had to get a new job, or you've started volunteering or something like that, and you're like, wow, I really get fired up about this, and it might make you feel a bit more spiritually satisfied. And if that is the case, then your advice is to really think about that, and I wouldn't be asking other people for advice on that. The answer needs to come from within, completely within, without outside influences. Sometimes, you know, there's a time and a place to ask other people for advice. In this situation, you have the answer within you, and asking other people advice might confuse your intuition and your judgment. All right, if you picked 2, let's see what we've got. Wow. Okay, so doesn't look so good on the surface, but trust me, it's good in the long run. So on the surface, we've got the 4 of Pentacles. Beneath the surface is the Star. Very good. Wish on a star. And your advice is the Princess of Wands. Okay, so if you pick 2, you've been disappointed. There might have been a loss of a job. There might have been a loss of a promotion, a loss of some sort of a contract, the loss of a relationship that made you feel secure. It's the loss of something that made you feel like you needed to put your walls up. And you know, Cancer, you're a wonderful sign, you're very sensitive, and sometimes when you get hurt, you put your walls up. Like a crab has a very hard exterior, and that's kind of what you're doing, a little bit. But it's okay, I mean, it's human nature, and we came here for this human experience, so. But you know what's really cool is, so minor arcana, major arcana under the surface. So even though it sucks, it's a bump in the road, no way is it going to keep you down for that long, okay? Because beneath the surface, we've got the stars. So tap like hope, inspiration, joy, almost like an awakening, realizing that you have the light within you to accomplish whatever it is that you want, right? So wish upon a star as well. And you might want to check out your astrology for your star sign this month as well. So, I mean, I see good things coming. This is like, make a wish upon a star, okay? And it will help you move through this a little bit more. And your advice is the Princess of Wands. The Princess of Wands she's so spunky. She's like a little pixie or a little sprite, you know? She's very curious and very in touch with her spiritual intuition, and when she's got a creative idea that just comes to her, she does it. So move through life with a sense of curiosity, almost like you're an alien that came to this planet and you're trying to figure this out, and look at all of these experiences in your life, the good and the bad, like food on a buffet table. There's going to be some foods you like, there are going to be some foods you don't like. So just if there's something you don't like, just, you know, spit it out, put it down. Oh, I learned I don't like that. Okay? And that's kind of like what this is. And go for the foods that you like. Sometimes figuring out what you don't like, including experiences, help you learn more what you do like and what you want. And yeah, the Princess of Wands is saying to approach life with a curious manner, based on inspiration and joy, to make decisions based on what makes you feel good and excited and alive, not fear-based. Okay, that's ego. Oh, cool. Ooh. All right, so if you pick 3, 7 of Wands on the surface, the Lovers beneath the surface, possible Gemini influence, and your advice is the Wheel of Fortune. So for some of you, moving forward, I feel like you might actually be keeping the higher ground, moving forward with something, a particular project, something that does make you feel inspired, joy, and you might be either ready for love, learning that self-love. It could also be like a balance of opposites within, and you might actually be moving forward with a lover. So if you are single, you might be connecting with a lover. If you're in a relationship, you might be moving forward. And the Wheel of Fortune, as an advice card, is saying that, you know, whatever has happened, it's almost like it's karma, like it's fate. And sometimes everything happens for a reason, even if it's completely unexpected. But this is positive, this is looking good. Move forward with this lover, or this whatever makes you feel internal love, and just move forward with inspired joy. You've got people around you to support you, and you're definitely on the way to being successful if there is some sort of creative project that you are undertaking. You're doing a pretty good job so far. All right, so if you'd like a private reading, send me an email or check out my website. That's all in the description below. Make sure you subscribe because I do monthly and mid-monthly readings. And if you're still here, you get a secret bonus card. All right, secret bonus card. Oh, how very interesting. This might have something to do with that person in week 1. 7 of Swords. Someone, are you or is someone else, I feel like for most of you, it's someone else is being deceitful, manipulative, they're being tricky, and there are unspoken things that they're hiding from you. So just be very wary of that, okay? Be very careful. Have a good month.